This morning is Bill Hensley. He is with the Pilot Leadership Program and has flown Boeing planes similar to the one we're talking about here. He's also the author of the Pilot Learning Leadership. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks.
Air Force pilot, commercial pilot, you've done it all.
Yes.
And you've flown something very similar to that 777.
Yes, a Boeing 767-400, which is, for all intents and purposes, virtually identical to the 777.
And you've also flown, you said your first flight in, was into San Francisco. Talk about San Francisco Airport and the challenges of landing there.
Sure.
If there are any.
Well, I think it's been a little bit overblown. It's a great airport. The only thing that's a little bit unusual about it is that your approach is all over water. And when you're over water, you lose a little bit of the ability for depth perception and the descent rate, how to be able to figure out your descent rate. But other than that, it's a fantastic airport, particularly when you have weather conditions like they had, 65 degrees, 7 miles an hour, and clear skies.
All right, I want to read to you what the NTSB said yesterday. A call from one of the crew members to increase speed was made approximately 7 seconds prior to impact. We all have heard that. The sound of the stick shaker occurs approximately 4 seconds prior to impact, and a call to initiate a go-around occurred a second and a half before impact. First of all, what's a stick shaker?
Okay, great question. Stick shaker is something that physically shakes the stick or the control column. When the computers calculate that the airplane is approaching a stall, now a stall doesn't have anything to do with the engines, it means decreasing airflow over the wings.
You can go ahead and bring that plane out if you'd like to.
Yeah,
Show
yeah.
what you're talking
When
about.
the angle of, this is a 767-400, when the angle of attack increases too much to where the airflow over the wings is disrupted, the computers will calculate that, and they will actually activate a motor, physical motor, on the control yoke, which will shake the stick. And the design implications of that are, it gets the pilot's attention.
Right.
And if you're in the cockpit and as a pilot and when something like that happens, you lower the nose and you add power. But if it occurs 4 seconds before impact, I hate to say it's too late.
It's too late.
It's too late. An approach on an airplane like this is determined, whether it's going to be successful or not, is determined much farther out. For example, at 500 feet, you're supposed to be in certain parameters. The gear's supposed to be down, the flaps are supposed to be down, and you're supposed to be on your target airspeed. You've heard that term of 137 knots.
Yeah.
If you're out of any one of those parameters, pilots have available to them a simple tool, which is a go-around. You add the power, raise the flaps, raise the gear, come around and try it again.
But again, from all indications, it was almost too late to do that. When they finally determined...
It was really sad when I heard the fact that at 7 seconds is when somebody mentioned speed.
Was that enough time, at 7 seconds?
You know, with the power way back
Yeah.
and the sink rate, very possibly not. Because remember, jet engines have what's called a spool-up time. Power is not instantaneous. So when you add the thrust levers to full power, it takes a few seconds, maybe 5 seconds or so, for the engines to develop thrust and to allow the airplane to climb away from the ground.
Let's show the video one more time of the plane actually coming in. And I want you to talk about the performance of this plane itself and the fact that everybody's calling this a miracle, only 2 people died. As the plane is coming in, if you'll notice, it goes up almost on a wing as it comes past it. Had that plane gone over, say pancake flipped over, I would have assumed that this would have been much more tragic.
Yes, in all likelihood, yeah, we can see right here where the tail contacts, and now this is probably about where the gear is being sheared off. The tail is already separated, and now, by the grace of God, it didn't flip.
We didn't see it. Okay, the animation's not going to show it.
Okay.
But the plane actually comes up. It doesn't just come in flat like that.
Right.
It comes up and almost, there we go. That does show it.
Right.
Had that gone on over.
Yeah, the chances of survival would have been much worse in that case. This is still a miracle on the bay is what I call it, because think of this 500,000-pound tube with 300 plus people in it going through such violent maneuvers, and only 2 people don't survive. That's a testament to how well Boeing as well as Airbus build their products.
And how safe flying is.
And how safe flying is. You know, you have about a 1 in 45 million chance of being involved in an accident in a major airline.
In your estimation, your gut feeling, what the NTSB takes 6 months to a year, as usual, which it should.
Yeah.
But what do you think they're going to find out about this? Is it human error? Sounds like.
Actually, what we suspected when we first heard about it, even before the press conference yesterday, from a pilot's perspective, looking at it, low and slow, and the power's back. We call that coffin's corner in the aviation world. And when you get into parameters like that, it's almost impossible to recover from it. So again, the key is to do a go-around when you're farther out. That's a tool that pilots have available to them, and perhaps they didn't take advantage of that.
Bill Hensley, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.